Jesus taught a hidden method, one so dangerous to the control system that it was erased from every approved Bible, a method that allows you to see Archons with your physical eyes in less than 7 days. The church didn't fear this technique because it was mystical. They feared it because it worked, and tonight you're learning it. But before you can understand the technique itself, you need to understand why it was suppressed, why it was removed, and why visibility is more threatening than any prayer, ritual, or spiritual practice ever created. In the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, one of the Nag Hammadi text's authorities tried to destroy, there is a moment that exposes everything. Mary describes ascending through 7 realms, and at each gate she is confronted by an Archon attempting to stop her passage. One of the disciples asks her a crucial question: how did you see them? How did you know they were there? Her answer was something the church could never allow into canon. Mary explains that Jesus taught them how to open the eyes that see beyond sight. Not spiritual vision, not imagination, not symbolic perception, actual seeing with the physical eyes, because once you can see them in material form, they lose their greatest weapon, not strength, not intelligence. Invisibility. Archons do not dominate humanity through force, they dominate through concealment. They operate in frequency ranges most humans cannot consciously perceive. This allows them to attach to your energy field, influence your thoughts, distort your emotions, and manipulate your behavior, without you ever realizing something external is involved. Every destructive impulse feels like it's yours. Every irrational fear feels self-generated. Every act of self-sabotage feels personal. But the moment you can see them, everything changes. You cannot be controlled by what you recognize as separate from yourself. You cannot be manipulated by something you are actively observing. Tonight, you are learning 3 things. First, why Archons invest so much effort into remaining invisible. Second, how the human visual system can be trained to perceive frequencies it normally filters out. Third, the exact technique Jesus taught, the soft gaze method, that activates this ability within 7 days. If you are ready to see what has been hidden, commit to the practice, because once visibility activates, there is no going back. Now understand this. Archons are not naturally invisible. They are not ghosts or formless spirits drifting in another realm. They have structure. They exist in dimensions that overlap with physical reality, but they operate at frequencies slightly offset from the range human eyes are conditioned to register. That offset is intentional. When the demiurge engineered the human body, the visual system was designed to perceive only a narrow slice of reality. The visible light spectrum, roughly 380 to 700 nanometers, is all you consciously see. But reality does not end there. Infrared exists, ultraviolet exists, and Archons operate just adjacent to what the eye normally allows through, close enough to interact with you, far enough to remain unseen. Think about how easy it is to control someone who cannot see you. You can stand behind them and whisper thoughts into their mind, and they'll believe those thoughts originated within themselves. You can generate emotional responses in their field, and they'll assume those emotions are natural reactions to life. You can attach energetic cords and drain them, and they'll simply feel exhausted without knowing why. Invisibility is not just an advantage. It is the foundation of the entire harvest system. But here is what the Gnostics discovered, and what the Church tried to erase. The human eye is far more adaptable than the demiurge intended. Yes, it was designed with limits, but those limits are not fixed. The capacity to see beyond them already exists in your physiology. It has simply been suppressed since birth, because if humans could see Archons, the control structure would collapse instantly. You cannot feed on someone who is watching you feed. You cannot manipulate someone who sees your hand on the controls. Those who learn to see report the same shift every time. Before visibility, it feels like you're under attack by invisible forces from unknown directions. After visibility, you see exactly what is happening. You see the entity. You see the attachment point. You see the cord connecting it to your energy body. And the moment you see it, the Archon knows. That is when panic begins. An Archon without invisibility is weak, exposed, and easily dismissed. This technique has nothing to do with clairvoyance. It is not about opening the third eye or entering a trance. It is about expanding the range of what your physical eyes can detect, and the reason it was buried so aggressively is simple. It is not complex. If it required decades of training or rare spiritual gifts, it could have been tolerated. But it doesn't. Most people activate this ability within 7 days of correct practice, and once activated, it does not shut off. You cannot unsee what you've learned to perceive. Your eyes do not simply receive light. They interpret frequency, and that interpretation happens in the brain. The retina captures data, but the brain decides what counts as real and what gets discarded as noise. From birth, your brain has been trained to filter out the frequencies where Archons exist. Not because those frequencies aren't reaching your eyes, they are, but because your brain has been programmed to delete them before conscious awareness. That filter is malleable, and you recalibrate it by training your visual attention to notice what is normally ignored. You have already experienced this. You're alone in a dim room. In the corner of your vision, something moves, a shadow shifts, a shape appears where nothing should be. You turn to look, and it's gone. Most people dismiss this as imagination or tired eyes, but those who see understand what happened. Your peripheral vision detected something before your central vision's filter erased it. Peripheral vision functions differently. It is optimized for movement and subtle environmental changes, and it accesses a slightly wider frequency range than focused vision. That is the gap this technique uses. You are not trying to see with focus. You are training peripheral awareness to hold what it detects long enough for conscious recognition. The technique is called soft gaze. Sit in a quiet space with low lighting, not darkness. Shadows need depth. Bright light forces retreat. Low light is where Archons feel safest. Face a neutral surface. Relax your eye muscles. Let your vision go slightly out of focus. Do not stare. Do not search. Widen your gaze until you are seeing the entire field at once. This will feel uncomfortable. Your brain wants a target. Ignore that impulse. As you maintain the soft gaze, pay attention to the edges of your vision. Do not move your eyes toward what you notice. Simply acknowledge it. Within minutes, you will see movement, shifts in air, distortions, shadows without source. Do not chase them. The moment you focus directly, they vanish. Hold the soft gaze. Over time, your brain realizes the presence is consistent. The filter relaxes, and then you will see one, not solid, not sharp, a distortion, a shimmer, a shadow with depth, smoke that moves with intent, static shaped like a form. When it realizes it has been seen, it will react. That reaction is how you know it is real. Imagination does not respond to observation. Entities do. Once visibility activates, you will notice how common they are: homes, public spaces, emotional environments. Most people carry at least one. You will see them feed, you will see them attach, and you will understand why awareness alone breaks the mechanism. Because conscious emotion is not food, visibility is power. And that is why it was hidden.